there is something beyond what you see. Traditionally, what Excels have been driving through, as in how you consume the insights is changing. The second part of your question with respect to BI tools, yes. So, there are a lot of BI tools in the market, so you can actually plug and play and get connected with your data, whichever format, whichever shape it is. We come up with the local mindset where we ask right questions to our customers and understand the quantum of data, the quality of data, and the way that they're capturing the data. It requires little effort for us to give them a download of how it works and what it works, so that we will be able to suggest them what is the right way to. Some people, let's say, talk to a defense customer, they effectively not cloud BI solution, which is very much understandable from me. On-premise. On-premise. Okay. Yes, on-premise BI, and it should have its own controls and things like that. So we suggest them a different kind of a BI tool, and for customers like it. So we've evaluated a lot of BI tools alongside with them. So we looked at Bayes, Power BI, Looker Studio, and things, and we narrowed down to Looker Studio just because it is probably right fit at this stage for them. So that's one of the way that we approach which we are able to choose as a format. Yeah.
So what are the tough questions which you face from customer CTOs?
Yeah.
Maybe Sunil was not so tough. Can I say that?
Yeah. So he's been a vendor to us all the way, but still he's a customer for us, right? So there are a lot of tough questions that we face. So we work with them alongside with them in understanding the data. And nobody usually agrees that data is what we call comes in noise. Usually, everybody believes that the data is good quality. It's something emotional because they have the data. It's owned by them. When you challenge them, the questions that we ask them, it is in a not writer format. It goes cycles and cycles towards the back-end team and then come back to us. So it is more rather than a tough question. It is more than a process that it takes for all of us to agree and make a common point. And at the same time, probably because this is growing. May not know complete awareness about BI tools. That keeps us some questions and challenges in saying that the data is right, and we have to debate that the data is not right. So more around the data rather than being BI. And second one is on how insights are captured. So businesses traditionally have been looking at the insights in a way that they perceive it should be in that way. Example, they were comparing charts, revenue and quantity in a single axis example, which ideally from a data science background, we feel that you should compare in a dual axis chart. So we compare metrics and charts. So it requires really time for us to educate them and bring them onto the same page. So those are kind of questions. So yeah, it's not like tough questions are asked intentionally, but it is because of the gaps that we see across people in the industry.
Sunil, going back to you, so does your board or the board of directors and the chairman, do they expect a ROI and do you do ROI? Because most customers whom we talk to, like from my fledgling company, so 1 year startup, we have been trying to convince a real estate firm today in a couple of firms. The adoption of any technology that eventually resulted in ROI. But how do we tangibly prove 1 year or 2 years down?
Absolutely. This question has been there for ages, right? And it's because I come from ERP background and all. The concept of recipes, we talk about ROI. They usually say about 8 to 10 years. That was how it was. And they would take a lot of other processes. But today, I would actually split it a different way of saying what is the cost of not doing this. Right. So you talk about my data and all. Yes, everybody has their own skill. You tell the data, they figure out what is the cost that they're getting it done. Right. Now, they will for themselves, then it's a very big question. Still spending his time on Excel sheet rather than some tool churn out those all basic metrics and all, and just be able to spend a quality and doing their thing, going for the networks and all. Which ideal place you want to be. Rather, being very react to those numbers and giving those numbers probably a month or two in the past. So I would say the business today should look at it, right? What if I have this one at my fingerprints? What would I do, right? And so along with that, right, the other point being, as the company is doing it all, you may not put a figure to some of these other things, right? But that's not the best part. Right? So some of the narrative should also be like, okay, how that is a growth plan, right? We're going to look what are the different data you should be doing, what are the insights you should be getting out for, and then how do you enable all these data processes, or what definition you, what the data definition you have to give to your teams, right? By then, having this, and then it makes your conversation with them very easy. That today, if we have the rights of the current tool and all, we should have the respect to the leads, come up with the data and the meetings. Now, the whole narrative is already fixed before the meeting. Right? So now, if you set it, and now spirit the way that let's all get the same data, right? On the tool in the same presentation. One source of truth, right now, that will be a different narrative to the meeting, right? There could be different questions coming up from the leadership, from other teams and all. So there's a good number of discussions that's happening there by opening up the data. If not, everybody is working there to pull some data and then just building up that narrative and trying to make things their way, their perception. Right? But at the end of the day, I think the due diligence can still be done at who you choose, right? What are the human efforts that you have to get into that? So, and our way is just not the tool, the resource cost and all. It should also be the resource cost down the lane, right? So that's the way it is. I try to put it out there. So, and I think today's leaders, and if you look at it, today it's also the challenge. Okay, the new employees that you look after, we are looking also coming out of college and all new areas. The areas are good, but they want to work with the best of technology. If you give them outdated technology, if they figure out that they're doing something wrong in a rather conventional way, I don't think they're part of it. Right? So sometimes we do get challenged by the things, by something very poor, in fact, it's too slow. It's taking 3 seconds to remember a page. This is the challenge you're living in, right? So if you as a business owner want to continue to be on top of your business, I think you want to do this technology to your employees and all, and they also feel that sense of pride and this thing that they're able to get the best technology.
Very powerful statement. Organization of technology.
Add to sure. A few years ago made a very sort of profound statement on stage when he got up and started his keynote. And he basically made a statement saying every company is a software company. They may not know it, but that is the reality. You might be any business, but unless you are into software, into data analytics, you will not be able to keep up with the competition market. Right? Using a lot of opportunities. Today, so you have to start with software. You have to start with
Today's thing for the post for any job, it is about market. That is when you are actually doing the analytics. Today, the people out there, the candidate actually asking you what technologies are you going to give you work with, what are your mails, numbers, and all. Unless that sense of excitement or ownership is not there, I think you're not going to get the best without people.
Okay, so in the room, I think we have Rajendra. If you have any questions, please, for any of the panelists, go ahead and ask any question.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, please, question.
I may be missing the context. Thank you for inviting me to come and observe. BI is basically a tool. It's not, how shall I say, for business. It's not like it is absolutely essential and they will start. Right. They will come to a tool later. Just imagine a car. You can drive a car, you can reverse a car.
Yeah.
But you would want to have a reverse camera if you can. Now, a reverse camera is an add-on tool that you're paying for. Right. Now, if you accept that as an add-on tool and look at the people who are running business, these are eventually, if the business is not run by a Lala, that business is not going to survive.
Right.
Right. So, taking the cue from what you said, and you made a very pertinent point that everybody wants to work with best tools.
Yeah.
But unless that enterprise has a Lala taking a decision, Now, if he has a Lala, he will want to know what am I getting out of it eventually.
Yeah.
If I don't have a reverse camera, what will happen?
Driving won't stop.
I will still drive, I will still reverse, I will still take turns or whatever. We have to establish, if you have to succeed in, you have to establish a return on investment case very clearly
Yeah.
with examples that have happened earlier. So how did it benefit? Somebody had to replace a bumper. Somebody knocked off somebody's dog.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so unless that comes through very clearly, this is an observation I had based on my personal experience when I used to sell solutions sometime.
Right. Yeah, otherwise, it's important for us to
Correct, yeah.
allow, let's say, older generation
And
see or
more and more of customers that you may be targeting are not enterprises.
correct.
Their decisions are made. In enterprises, an IT manager, please correct me if I'm wrong, would take a decision to go with the best, or IBM would take a safe decision because his job is secure at that.
Correct.
Even if the whole project fails, he'll say, I went to the best.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So the people who will actually take a little bit of a chance and agree to consider something else is the mid or the lower.
Right.
And there you have to be very careful that you're giving them their value for every rupee that they spend on us. That has to be established, and there is no escape from that.
So context is for SME.
Right. To add to your point, so yes, innovation is also to be chosen as one of the environment. Yeah. So we talk about evaluation, right? So what kind of solution makes it is whether we're trading with time or whether you're trading with the money or what is it, human capital. In the example that we work with companies, so we were able to automate a few processes. It's not just we and talking about with the help of AI. We're able to identify bottlenecks in a particular process and help them understand and show them that if you address this particular process, we're going to have to do a fee reduction in long budget. This is the way that
Anything.
we have, like you mentioned. So it's not about tools; it's about the domain knowledge and the fundamentals of how the system works. Should also be owned by these big companies, because so that we provide as much value as we can. Yeah.
And towards that, I think, the Lala mentality is a good mentality because that focuses on the money and obviously.
Those are the only survivors. You can go back and look at history.
But let me also give you a perspective of other experience with companies that have prolonged the investment into technology for the longest time because of the Lala mentality. You're saying that, but eventually they reach the stage where it is not too late because they haven't even established basics of data, basics of their competitors have taken the market away. They are still profitable. It's not like.
But they've missed out. Like what you said. What are you missing?
Yeah.
So that romantic part is more difficult to say.
Exactly.
And so I think what the Lalas need to learn is this: focus on the money, but keep a small budget out for experimenting with innovation and technology. Even if you have to write it off because it didn't work for you, but doing that experiment, taking that risk with a small portion of money at least, but parking it away as a separate budget is extremely important, even with this.
I
A few months ago, sorry,
please speak your.
my apologies. So a few months ago, we were talking to a client, and he was asking for quotation and so on. Right. So he was asking like, if you're doing it manually and if you're doing it with the hybrid model and then completely, how much it would cost.
Okay.
So to provide this, I need to understand how much is spent right now, because I'm just talking to him. I can't ask him what is your spend. So we have to have the understanding of what he's asking and how much he would be spending right now. So we have to fit in that, because he should relate. Okay, this guy is correct. I'm spending almost that amount. So from there you can build the ROI. So this is how and we made him to choose the open source with the hybrid model.
Okay.
So he wanted open source and also two variants here: open source model and the proven models. So how much it could cost? Cost comparison for both, yeah, open source and how much time would it take for open source and how much time would it take for proven models? But proven models are too costly. And, unless customer is very keen to go to that, that's how it is right now.
Any questions, Mr. Nayak? From your side? Do we just, so what is? Oh, okay. You're saying something, Rajat? What?
I missed it. I'm sorry. When it comes back, maybe my age is catching up with me now.
So maybe you could take some questions from the online.
About 30.
Can you ask people?
Yeah, it's very big 30. So I'm losing this.
So to the guests online, we have another 15 minutes. Please do type your questions on the chat, or you can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. I welcome people who are there online. Does anybody have a question? So people who are logged in. Hirappa Praveen, Lakshmi Nikita. Any questions? Panikanda Chaudhary, Jhansi Rani, please type a question, or if you want to ask, unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
While we wait for that, the point that you were making, sir, that when they don't take a decision towards technology, there are numerous examples. Of course, yes. Totally agree with that. Many people do that. But if you're selling a solution, or if you're proposing yourself as a technologist to work in an organization like that, we can't be missing the point that they are in it for money, whatever their business is.
Yeah.
And to establish, and this is very common, many technology guys get deep into the seduction power of the technology and keep talking about it. You can do this, you can do that. Yes, there are some customers who will take, because there are Mercedes-Benz that are selling. So there are customers who will certainly spend money because they feel this tool is useful, or it's got its value in terms of what you were saying is that they want to use absolutely the best and the latest and all that. But that story has to be very strong. And I'm just making a point while you wait for questions. I'm not stopping there.
No, so very, and in fact, I would say it is the responsibility of the technologists to make sure that they are not. So if I come from Microsoft, I work for an organization on solution selling. And one thing that we were taught, there's actually a very interesting book by an author called Mahan Khasa. He's actually a Canadian, and he has written a book called Let's Get Here or Let's Not Get. He was a door-to-door salesman, and he actually made a career in sales. So he was flourishing career in sales. And he
didn't reach there, but I was a door-to-door sales.
Yeah. Exactly. So he has written a book, and basically the core principle of that book is that if you cannot solve a problem for the customer, you should not solve it. So you sell.
I agree with that.
So to answer your question, I think what should happen is what typically technologists do is, as you rightly said, go in and just say, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Rather than that, if you just sort of start building the foundation, like at least start storing the data. Like let's first start storing the data. It's like then we'll build on the value and slowly prove the value. But if you go and first sell the big vision of something, it's not going to sell. So
If you have any questions,
That's a very good discussion. Initially, like data preparation, data discovery, analyzing of the data in the on-premise environment is needed to forecast and okay, this is what I have, this is what customer have. And we can analyze using some tools, we can analyze some, we can include AI as tools. AI is a era nowadays. So we can use those tools. Cloud have a lot of tools nowadays. And we can compare those native tools with other legacy other vendors tools, and sometimes even cloud cannot provide the complete solution as per the customer requirement. So in that scenario, assessment is very, very important before we onboard some data on inside. So those assessment discovery of the data preparation is essential. Yeah. That means that,
I mean, absolutely.
yeah.
So,
No questions are coming from audience. So,
And in this clouds coming up with a lot of stuff. Infrastructure as a service now, they are building day by day as a platform as a services. I wanted to do this of the events in Oracle, All India Oracle user groups, so in that they are talking about the platform as a services, which is, yes, it is a combination of infrastructure as a base and running some user-friendly, cost-effective those platform as a service we can use. Yes, infrastructure is always required, and we can use those platforms as a service.
Yeah, they help you get started very quick.
Yeah,
The advantage is that you don't lose time and you can get started very quick.
yeah. So initially, we can go as a infrastructure as a service because we can save the cost on the development side initially. Directly, if you go for the platform as a service, cost.
I would actually differ the platform as a service is usually cheaper than infrastructure. Because infrastructure is literally the machine. So it costs so much on price, it costs the same amount as in the server. It is not sitting in your server and your devices now. But in a platform as a service, what happens is you are sharing the infrastructure. The entire platform has been built for sharing with other customers. So there's a lot of cost optimization that happens under the layers there. And so it is usually cheaper to post on a platform as a service.
It's cheaper in the process, but it's cost. It's not cost effective development. So in development, we can choose as an infrastructure to R&D on this.
Yeah.
And once it is stable, we can migrate to platform as a service. It is something like migrate and then modernize. So,
And it says as well the cloud vendors are giving you offers also.
yeah,
They want you on the platform.
yeah.
For them, because the best thing is the platform. Because that is where they are optimizing. Their margins are much better there. So they want you on that. So usually they will give you credits to do your development.
Yeah.
And all that when you come to production, will pay for it.
Well, you wait for questions. I had one. If you take a route, like they decided to have their own infrastructure completely, or you take a cloud-based infrastructure or platform or whatever solution you take. Later, if you decide to move from where to where is easier? Is it easier to move from cloud to your own infrastructure or vice versa?
It all depends on the platform that you choose. If you choose open source technologies, like for example, if you choose MySQL as a database or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can move from on-prem to cloud to on-prem. It's still the same. It's just a migration. It is only you have to be very careful, especially with platform as a service, that you don't get locked into some very specific technology. So Microsoft has certain storage technology which are being built by them for the cloud. So if you go into that, and then you're not able to come out because it's now locked into their. So it depends on the choice of technology that you pick.
But don't you get stuck with these clouds with some of those technologies?
Yes, so most of them, in fact, most of them realize that. So what is happening is that a lot of companies are like Microsoft took a very sort of a very clear stand on that. And a few years ago, yes, they realize that people are afraid of login. So people are not coming to their platform because they think they will log in. So they started opening up. They said we are supporting all open source databases. You name it and it is there on their platform. Right? So it's MySQL, whether it's Postgres, whatever it is, it's all there on their platform. And they also claim that unlike do is the modifications to open source. So they take open source and modify it there. So Microsoft doesn't even do that. They say they use only what is available in open source. Just version to version.
As it is.
So those kind of things.
Something hybrid study.
Yeah.
Not depend on one to some portion from this, some portion from there.
Yeah.
And we can combine from that. Yeah.
Any other questions or thoughts from you? So, Imtiaz, you run an IT services company?
Yes, I run a IT services company, and we have a pharma product, pharma manufacturing product, which is called laboratory information management system.
Oh, is it?
We have built that product, and we are implementing that now in a big company in India itself.
Sure.
We are trying to move out to US. I'm collaborating with some people, and also Middle East. So these are the two regions I am right now, because I have now one implementation. Of course, I have two more implementations. It just started. So now that we are confident that we are moving out as well. So basically, in India, I mean, as far as if I talk about Indian customers, pharma still they are not on cloud. That's one of the problems that they have.
Okay. They're not using cloud.
They're not using cloud.
Okay. It is at least
Big
maybe very big.
yeah, very big companies will can't.
More than 5,000 crores.
Yeah. So we are talking about big layer. So these companies, they're not into it, and they don't trust us as well. Cloud, they don't trust. They want everything on prem. They purchase this. Whatever we talk about the infra, they purchase and give it to us. So that's how it is happening right now. And apart from that, yeah, we are on also e-commerce. We have e-commerce complete suite. We are trying to give it to one of the company in US. And apart from that, we have many projects which are project based deliveries.
All these are like SaaS products, LIS, or it can be on-premise.
It is. We built the SaaS product, but then we have converted to because Indian customers are not into it.
Okay.
So maybe we will use
Professional licenses will
correct. So we are now using maybe we will use that in US region or something. At least in US region. So that's what is our plan right now.
So, any other interesting use cases outside the company?
Sure. Because someone mentioned AI, right? So we also identified some use cases for AI. And we're looking for some partners also on the AI. So so one of the problem in the industry is that it's so aspects. It's where it's the under of the cover of the impacts against particularly across the world. So implemented in India also. So we are currently working with a couple of boards of partners who can identify the reasons, right? And the symptoms and all of the disease, and trying to see how we can get it over. We are also working some vets also. Okay, because there are some typically if you maintain a huge study, you have a lot of infrastructure. You can have your IR, mobile phones and all of that. But some of our marginal farmers, they're very far away from this technology. They don't have a small mobile phone and all, right? So we are trying to work with them. So that's one case study that we identified. We want to understand the symptoms of this disease. Essentially, visual is also visual. So there are some studies that are come out. If you have IR and all, the detection you can do.
Visual meaning the symptoms are like
Exactly. You take pictures of check of that. Yes. Yeah. Or something internal. No, and then it's also some difference in the temperature before making, post making, and all. Level temperature, sorry. Identify the detection and all. Right? And then there are a lot of other parameters around the health of the cow, the breeding of the cow, the temperature, and all of these. So these are factors. So we just want to create at least a sort of awareness among other community, at least to say where they are. Some of these parameters and how can they actually solve it at the same level. So once it really gets released and all, it's not a way than giving antibiotics. Today, certification human body takes 5 years or 10 years. You're talking about 800 kg. You can only imagine how much doses they give. All of that gets affected in the milk. Right. And the complete fat has come. Yes. So we can reject the milk right away. Right. Which again, in their pockets. So that's what we got. Why don't we help some of these farmers? So we can't do it directly to the farmers because they don't have that know-how. They don't have some of them. Right. So we are doing some great solutions areas. Trying to see how the best farmers can at least identify some of these early symptoms.
Okay.
That's one. And then the other one I said we developed about 32,000 individual customers today for this is so for me every day is any day. So today you can order for something, tomorrow you change it. The option is 10 a.m. 10 p.m. every night to change the next order. Now for me again I have to see the every voice for waiting every morning 3 a.m. to see which customers they are there and what product, right? So for me from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. it's like critical time. So all these good operations kick in and all of that, and you have to do the best. So you can't expect a delivery boy to do the delivery in one area, then go a kilometer away for the first customer. So they want how to build the ideas. Absolutely. Yeah, all of that. And we also have other constraints like the weight that you can't expect just because there are 40 customers, 41 customers, that's 40 liters. Right. This guy can't do it. So there are these other parameters also that we have to take in and then find out the best option. So that also we are trying to use some technology to find out, just because some of the solutions here, they use area distance. Okay, now that's only good for a calculation. Now if you are here, you have the sensor area. The area distance can say 2 kilometers. But if you look at actually the drive around, so these are the constraints also. But with the advent of because the tech is definitely getting better. Now you see the area was with the GIS and all of this, we have come a long way. Now it's just about how can we adopt. And this directly impact the operator. So the bottom sorry, right, because I have to enter because it's a good solution. You take it directly, it's over. Very interesting. Yeah.
So do you collaborate with this science universities or some R&D institutions? So not required. It's just about identifying the symptoms.
Yeah, for the first use case, definitely. We do ask them that we are part of some of the programs that they were on. But ultimately, again, because they also behind on tech and all, I think it will be better if we actually prove that the POC, right, to say and then we go to them. But unlike in the states or if some of these studies are done by the universities and they actually nurture the solution, they actually do the POC on the ground, then they come and get out in the industry. But in India, things are not so well done with the industry and institution collaboration. Right? I think we're still behind on that one, but yeah, hopefully we'll get better. Today, it is about we are doing it because it's a deal for me, right? So that's why I'm pushing for it. Maybe there's a case out that somebody else can do it better.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk 1 minute on what we are doing here. So we have started a startup incubation hub in the college, Krishna Institute of Management. It's in Hyderabad and near to Shamilpet. So some of the students are also logged in today, and what we are trying to do there is, so this college has about 1,400 students across BBA, MBA, BTech also. They call it as Bachelor of Science 4-year course. Predominantly, we are taking some interns and putting them through, let's say, work exposure and environment. Exposure to working environment with a startup like us. Give them sales, marketing, app development, training, HR related tasks, various tasks. Why we are doing this is we feel that there is a lot of talented skills among students, but they are not groomed with the 2-year or 4-year course. They are then connected to the right jobs. And so we have started this where we invite other startups also to be a part of this incubation. They collaborate with the students, and if you have a business problem, we can also do contract research, market research, I would say. So we have taken directly 8 interns from Pune. And we invite other startups also to basically come and tap into the student pool. And also there is a free space, Wi-Fi, everything will be provided to startups. Essentially, we are bringing work exposure to the doorstep of the students. So this internship is for about 6 to 12 months. When the students are working with us, because we are in the campus located there, 2 hours a day they work with us on a given task. Like today's entire event, invitations or design, live streaming, a lot of things are designed by the students. And these are exactly the skills which you and I will probably ask if we are hiring freshers. So there's one attempt we have made to start this. So it's more academic industry collaboration. So we invite companies to come and maybe take use. So I have some interns from this pool of talent. Of course, yours is in the industry, different problems you're solving. But if there is anything that we can do, sales, marketing, brand building, or training, we can definitely learn some experience there. Sales Farm and Mr. India's this company.
Sure.
Or wherever Rajendra has his long tentacles into various companies. Rajendra is incidentally my colleague and was from the Reliance Infocom days. More than 2 decades back when we launched them first. Yeah, I mean, would you want to cite some other uses and use cases or what you are doing with any new product, any new solution the company is thinking?
Yeah. With a key one of different kind of problem. So we work with the climate tech startup. The predominantly tech insurance companies will get their losses or help them in their underwriting, especially in any small climate change. So the pharma is one of the example for furnish medicines. It requires cold chain from right from manufacturing to direct consumption. So any small degree essentials change is actually a big thing. For such medicines that are there, and we're helping track the data second by second and build a repository. And this is actually seeded to insurance companies, which actually is insured by a particular manufacturer. This is one interesting case. We're also helping one advertising company in actually quantifying. Let's say we all see ads every day on the screen. So, and it burns some good amount of carbon credits, and especially the ESG practices that is evolved and got its more significant. So, we're trying to estimate, let's say, and give the carbon credits back to the developer and see how much can you save in case if you use any other optimization techniques. So that's also a couple of use cases that we're solving. Yeah, lot to hear from challenges and in my customers to talk about the challenges and see how best we can help them.
There are no more questions online, offline, so we can close the session. Anybody has any thought?
Questions for sure. I started my career in sales and marketing.
Okay.
Later I started a new business, so I started startup. So during COVID time, I was forced to shut down my business. So we I attended one of the incubations for e-labs. E-labs. I didn't have 200 students starting the business. Just taking BBA and BCom. So I used to teach them hundreds of startups on to build ideas, on to business model, business unit. Then I did my startup. Going back up to this starting very much. Okay. So this is I think we can do some work with the
Yeah. So what is the current startup? What does it focus on?
we have she went out to green.
Oh, okay. Animal husbandry. It is going to export.
We have a US company also. This okay.
So do you export to Europe? has just started now. Like this. Okay, domestic consumption.
Question is, for alumni, SLP.
Can you go some?
That's my note. There are one more person, Ravi Srinivas.
Yeah, actually, it's instrumentation. Mostly to do with IT. So we slowly will break data centers, IT security, and storage solutions. So like you say, on-prem, so we came up.
Okay, great conversation. So, thanks to everyone for being here. Thanks to all the online participants who asked a question. And the format, maybe people have got off. Thanks once again.
Yeah, close.
We ask for some tea coffee.
Everyone mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.